welcome to my booktube channel, Books My Heart. I'm Angela. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out today's video. I really appreciate it. Today I am continuing my book discussion of A Series of Unfortunate Events, which includes The Miserable Mill, The Austere Academy, which I will admit has become one of my favorites, and The Ersatz Elevator. These three books are all formulaic in nature. The Baudelaires go to a new unsuitable guardian. Count Olaf finds them. The Baudelaires try and convince everyone that Count Olaf is there, with little success. Count Olaf engages with the children. Count Olaf is caught, and Count Olaf escapes. The children then leave their unsuitable guardian to go somewhere else, which then leads directly into the next book in the series. The outline for these three books are all similar in that way. So I'm going to highlight some of my favorite moments from these three books. First up, The Miserable Mill. One of my favorite phrases from this book, first prize for wretchedness. The next time someone annoys you, please use the phrase, "You will win first prize in a wretchedness contest." I just really like that phrasing. I think it is super funny, and yet it shows great writing. Once Count Olaf's wretchedness is established, the children are taken to the Lucky Smells lumber mill. If you did not watch my previous video, I will just reiterate that the names of these locations are really important and truly humorous. My favorite part of this book is that we never actually learn the name for their new guardian. We never learn his real name because Violet, Klaus, and Sunny are told it is too difficult to pronounce, so they just call him Sir. I love it when one of the workers responds and says, "I think it's Mr. Something." There is always a Mr. or Mrs. or a Dr. something. There is always the Mr. part, but yet he responds as if that somehow clarifies his name. Not only is Sir unnamed, but he is also a terrible person and a horrible guardian. He pays the mill workers in coupons, he gives them gum for lunch, and expects the children to live in a dormitory filled with grown men. And for the first time in the series, Count Olaf's disguise is that of a woman, Shirley. Count Olaf also attempted to use hypnosis on Klaus. The children are also forced to work in the Lucky Smells lumber mill, and that includes Sunny, who is a baby. One of my other favorite lines occurs on page 97 of my edition. "My left leg is broken, but at least I'm right-legged. That's pretty fortunate." I have never heard anyone say, "I am right or left-legged." In the end, Sir gives up the Baudelaires, and they have to go find another new home. If I were one of the children, I would not be that upset. This book might be one of my favorites. The Austere Academy. Mr. Poe gives up trying to find an official guardian for the children and instead enrolls them in a new school. The reader is introduced to several new characters who will be reoccurring throughout the rest of the series. This includes Carmelita Spatz, who is addressed in the very first sentence in the book. I also love the opening line of this book. If you were going to give a gold medal to the least delightful person on earth, you would have to give that medal to a person named Carmelita Spatz. And if you didn't give it to her, Carmelita Spatz was the sort of person who would snatch it from your hands anyway. In one sentence, Carmelita Spatz has the perfect characterization. In a not too subtle fashion, Principal Nero plays the violin. The children are not treated too much better than when they live with Sir. No, I'm afraid you'll have to live in a small shack made entirely of tin. Inside there is no living room, no game room, and no lending library whatsoever. You three will each have your own bale of hay to sleep on, but no fruit. It's a dismal place. But Mr. Poe tells me you've had a number of uncomfortable experiences, so I figured you'd be used to such things. And the school's official motto is, Memento Mori, remember you will die. At the school, the children are not exactly learning anything of use either. Violet has a teacher who eats bananas all class and tells really dull stories, while Klaus has a teacher who is obsessed with the metric system and makes them measure everything. My favorite part of this book, however, is the fact that Sunny becomes the vice principal's secretary. According to him, she is too young to attend school, so naturally she has to become his secretary instead. At one point, this infant is supposed to make her own staples. I would really love to know the inspiration for that one. In a truly unfortunate fashion, Count Olaf arrives as the new gym teacher. And Count Olaf gets special time with the children because he claims orphans have stronger legs. Count Olaf makes them run special orphan running exercises, or SOAR, which causes them to become exhausted and in turn to fail their classes, or in Sunny's case, give a poor work performance. The Baudelaires' new friends, Duncan and Isadora, take on these running exercises one night in order to give the Baudelaires a break to study for their comprehensive exams. And while they run, they apparently pull a bag of flour behind them to represent Sunny. Because how else would you represent a baby forced to crawl for laps? The children pass their exams only to be accused of cheating. Because according to Vice Principal Nero, studying is the same thing as cheating. At this point in time, Mr. Poe arrives and things unravel from there. This time, however, when Count Olaf escapes, he kidnaps Duncan and Isadora. While he drives off with them, they shout back VFD to Violet, Klaus, and Sunny. This is the first time the reader is introduced to VFD, which becomes really important later on. The sixth book, The Ersatz Elevator. This book is extraordinarily comical. Yet again, the children are given to new guardians by Mr. Poe. Their new home, 667 Dark Avenue. Not 666, but 667. Violet, Klaus, and Sunny are given to Jerome and Esme Squalor. The couple does not live in squalor conditions though, and Jerome and Esme's penthouse has 71 rooms. Besides the 71 bedrooms, there were a number of living rooms, dining rooms, breakfast rooms, snack rooms, sitting rooms, standing rooms, ballrooms, bathrooms, kitchens, an assortment of rooms that seemed to have no purpose at all. The penthouse was so enormous that the Baudelaire orphans often found themselves hopelessly lost. I have never heard of a single apartment being that large. Anyone who has ever had to live in a studio apartment will be jealous of that. Esme proudly declares herself the city's sixth most important financial advisor. Usually if you're not in the top 3 or the top 5, you're not that noteworthy. Yet Esme is proud to be the 6th most important financial advisor. Esme agreed to become the children's guardian because orphans are quote-unquote in. I didn't know orphans were ever out, but according to Esme, they were. I'm sure a few of Dickens's novels would have been quite different if orphans were out. Esme is very concerned with what's in and what's out. As the reader, my lingering question still is, who exactly decides what's in and what's out? Who decided pantsuits were all the rage? Or that water-based martinis were in and alcoholic martinis were out? I'm just curious. It takes a great deal of creativity to spin not having any belongings into a positive attribute. Mrs. Squalor said there was no reason to bring any of your old clothing, and I think it's because she wanted to save you the effort of dragging suitcases up all those stairs. While Esme is getting ready for a large auction, Jerome takes the Baudelaires to Cafe Salmonella. The names of these places are just hysterical. It turns out that the auctioneer is none other than Count Olaf. Violet, Klaus, and Sunny realize Count Olaf has been living in the building with them. It turns out he was living in a fake elevator shaft, and living with Count Olaf were his kidnapped victims, Isadora and Duncan. When Violet, Klaus, and Sunny go to tell Esme about Count Olaf's evil plan, she pushes them down an elevator shaft. Their guardian pushes them down an elevator shaft. And yet she's not necessarily the worst one they've ever had. And if you have any thoughts on who the worst guardian is, let me know down below. Sunny proceeds to climb out using her teeth. Just go with it. At the end of the book, when Esme reveals her true colors, she leaves Jerome for Count Olaf. The Baudelaires need to find another new guardian yet again. Be sure to tell me down below in the comments section which book from the series is your favorite. The 1st and the 5th are mine. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. I will be posting 2 more videos on the series of unfortunate events, so please hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for those. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have an amazing reading day.